Any organization that's going to go down this pathway and consider provider dispensing as a solution in our example, in a primary care setting, one of the biggest concerns early on was provider buy-in, right? Because this is a very new concept when we talk about dispensing medication. Historically, healthcare has operated under the lens of pharmacy in the traditional community setting. And so when you introduce a program like this to a provider for the first time, it's the fear of unknown. And so how do you engage the provider? How do you get them to buy into the concept of you're going to be dispensing in-house? What drives them to buy into the program is when they start to see the outcomes of the program that's in place.
Well, it's definitely helped expedite the process of taking care of a patient. I think that ASM has allowed us to do our job a little bit easier by providing us the tools to give the patient the best patient care experience that we can.
With providers, initially, a lot of them will have their hesitancies, obviously, because it's going to be a different workflow for them. And then they start to realize them utilizing the program is just saving them headaches on the back end. A lot of issues we have here are called telephone encounters.
Dr. So-and-so, I'm at the pharmacy. The pharmacist is telling me I don't have the prescription here, or that the prescription was never sent. And so it becomes a back and forth with the patient playing middleman, which really isn't their responsibility. And then you think of the back end of it. Now you have a provider that may be already in an exam room with the patient that's getting bogged down by this phone call to manage an issue that should be resolved. And so that starts to impact the provider experience. As you can imagine, call center volumes go up. We looked at call center data and information. 25 to 30% of our phone calls were pharmacy-related phone calls.
All of those telephone encounters we handle in-house. So all of their future headaches are being solved because we're already handling a lot of the pharmacy issues. Outside of that, you have a quarterback for pharmacy in your healthcare center for the first time.
And if you did a deep dive on those, you recognize that many of those phone calls were issues with the external retail pharmacy not having that prescription in hand.
And it always came back to us. So even though they had an amazing time with us, we were still getting dinged because where we sent them, they did not have an amazing time. Once we implemented ASM into the prescription program, we weren't seeing those dings on our scores from other businesses.
When the providers start to recognize that their relationship with their patient becomes stronger, when the provider starts to recognize they have confidence that their patient now has access to treatment, the buy-in follows. And so we recognized very early on that we had a responsibility as an organization to step in and make sure we can bridge that gap for patients. And the outcome inevitably is better healthcare outcomes.